G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnell. This is ACW Sport, and here is my review for week 3 of the 2017-2018 Premier League season, starting at the big game that happened on Sunday, Liverpool versus Arsenal, where Liverpool humiliated, embarrassed, and just completely destroyed Arsenal, running out 4-0 winners in the end. Now, before I actually get started on any of the reviews, I was actually lucky enough to be at the game at the weekend. And I've got to say, the atmosphere at Anfield was truly spectacular. And to hear You'll Never Walk Alone actually sung live, seeing the Kop with all the flags waving, I was there with my mates Dan and Ricky. It was such an amazing experience. And you can see why it's such a special thing in football and why it's so well renowned. Because it is absolutely beautiful to witness. So yeah, just had to talk about that quickly. As for the game itself, what a game, especially from Liverpool's standpoint, because they were on fire. Now, coming into this game, you can expect goals. And I said to my friends, you could expect goals. I thought Liverpool were going to win beforehand. I did not expect it to be this easy, though. But the last time there was a 0-0 draw between Liverpool and Arsenal was actually in 1998. And since then, in their Premier League games, there have been 84 goals scored in the games. It's an incredible record. And that actually averages out to 4 goals a game, which obviously was continued this weekend because Liverpool ran out 4-0 winners. And, I mean, they humiliated, embarrassed, and just completely destroyed Arsenal. I'm going to start on the positives for Liverpool because it was just such a good performance. And Klopp got his tactics spot on as well. But this is where it's scary for Arsenal because the tactical side of the game got so badly wrong. But we're going to get onto that in just a moment. But starting off with Liverpool, like I said, I cannot talk more highly of this performance. You know, they were so quick and efficient and exciting to watch that Arsenal just couldn't live with them. You know, Mane down one side, Salah down the other, Firmino playing in that false number 9, Shannon Wijnaldum in the middle. Literally, it was almost a perfect performance from Liverpool. And the way they've purchased in the summer, it's exciting for Liverpool fans at the moment because they have got a strong squad now. And when you think that Lallana and Coutinho aren't even involved yet, you can look at their bench. They brought Sturridge on from the bench, for example. It's an exciting, strong team. And you feel that they can really go in the Premier League and the Champions League this season. You know, Klopp has been reaching his targets well, despite what some ridiculous Liverpool fans are saying that he should get the sack because, you know, they're not reaching the heights or whatever. Give him time, for crying out loud. I mean, I say that because I heard some fans on TalkSport the other week talking about it. I think they're ridiculous and it's an absolute joke, really, that anyone would suggest that Klopp deserves to get sacked at the moment because you're playing some of the best football, not just in England, but in the whole of Europe, especially at Anfield. Now, yeah, as I said, the team played fantastically well. The tactics were just spot on. Instead of pressuring Arsenal high up the field like Liverpool usually tend to do, what they actually did was they actually sat back off of Arsenal. It was almost like they were playing away from home and letting Arsenal have control of the ball. And you can see that in the possession because Arsenal had more possession. But they knew that Arsenal do not like to track back. And that is where Salah and Mane did the damage because they just caught them on the counter-attack time and time again. And that Salah goal alone shows it because why Bellerin was the last player back for Arsenal and yet probably halfway into the Liverpool half is beyond me. One of the easiest goals Salah will ever score. And he, for me, like I said, man of the match with his assists and his goals. He was on fire. And what a signing he's been so far for Liverpool this season. But an amazing start to the season for Liverpool. You've got to consider that if it wasn't for that awful refereeing or lino decision on the opening weekend against Watford that allowed Watford to get that equaliser in the dying moments where the goal was easily a yard offside, Liverpool will be joint top of the Premier League with Manchester United at the moment. So just bear that in mind. They've started the season fantastically and I think Liverpool fans have got a lot to look forward to this coming season. As for Arsenal, the nightmare continues. Wow, this has got to be one of the worst performances I have ever seen a Premier League side put in, especially one that considers themselves one of the biggest clubs in England. It was an embarrassment. And I generally believe that Arsenal deserve, or the fans deserve to get all of their money back, the ones that travelled up there, because it was humiliating. The players just lacked any form of commitment, energy. They just didn't look like they wanted to be there, especially Sanchez. Ozil disappeared yet again in a big game. But you could just see from Sanchez's body language, and there were other fans saying it around me as well. He was slumped over. He didn't look like his normal self. And because of it, Arsenal suffered. It was almost like Liverpool were playing against 9 or 8 men at times, because some players for me just weren't putting in the commitment, and they just made it easy for Liverpool. But you've got to question the tactics as well. You know, when you look at Arsenal's record against the top 6 sides away from home since 2013, they've only won 2 games. And that, for me, says everything you need to know about Wenger's tactics. The fact that he's only got one plan, and when that plan doesn't work, he has no answers for it whatsoever. You can't go to places like Anfield, Old Trafford, the Etihad, Stamford Bridge, and try and play teams off the park, because it's not going to work. And you saw that against Liverpool. They tried to play Liverpool off the park, tried to do the keep ball, went on the offensive, and Liverpool just picked them apart and absolutely ruined them. And now look at the circus that's surrounding Arsenal once again. And bear in mind, the transfer window's still open. When you look at the fact that, players like Lacazette, your record signing, who's made a good start to the season, starts on the bench and is only brought on when you're 3-0 down, not to be played up front, his position, where he's been renowned for being one of Europe's top strikers, he gets played left wing instead. And then you put Giroud up front. Now look, Giroud's a good striker, but at the end of the day, you're 3-0 down. You could see it wasn't working. It was too late. The performance just wasn't good enough. The substitutes were not going to make a difference. And you could see that because when they came on, it just got worse. So some of the tactical decisions were mind-blowingly awful. And you do have to wonder what Wenger was thinking in this case. Now, I don't like to criticise Arsene Wenger because he is a Premier League legend in terms of managers. But in this game, he couldn't have got it more wrong, along with the rest of his team. And when you've also got players like Mustafi, the left back, you know who I'm talking about. I can't pronounce his name right. But when you look at players like that, the fact that these players have been brought in to help solidify Arsenal's defence, yet they're both on the bench, and so is your record signing, and yet you're playing someone like Alexis Sanchez, who, by the sounds of things, doesn't want to be at the club. What does that say? What message does that say to players that you potentially want to sign to try and bring in to improve that situation? It's awful. And Arsenal, it just couldn't have been a worse day at the office for them, to say the least. But they need to dust themselves down, look at themselves hard, and sort the situation out very, very fast. But look, I'm going to leave it at that point on that game. An amazing day for Liverpool, awful one for Arsenal. And for both teams, just complete parallels of each other at the moment. Arsenal, for me, they're not even Champions League contenders at the moment. And that's why I predicted they'd finish 6th. And at the moment, I can honestly see that happening. On to some of the other weekend's action. Manchester United remain top of the Premier League after a 2-0 win at Old Trafford over Leicester City. Marcus Rashford and Marouane Fellaini getting the goals. And it was a very, very dominant performance from Manchester United. I was watching it with my brother, who's a Spurs fan, and he was saying that, it's almost like the first time since Fergie left that it actually looks like Manchester United at Old Trafford under him. The dominant Manchester United that didn't allow any time in that. I know Leicester created 1 or 2 half chances because every team's going to do that in a game. But United were just relentless. And the fact that they could bring on such power off of the bench to change the game says everything about it, because they were dominant. They were very unlucky to not be on the score sheet. One matter, unfortunately, being mistakenly ruled offside. But, so many positives for United at the moment. 10 goals scored, none conceded. It's exciting. They've already had 6 different goal scorers this season, which is exciting in itself, because I think they struggled for variety in goal scorers last year. And when, the first team, or, what Arsenal were lacking in a plan B, United were able to bring on their plan B in Fellaini and Rashford, and it worked. Spirited performance from Leicester. They defended very, very well. Got to give them credit. But United seem to have that class to get them over the edge, even when things aren't quite going their way. But very solid performance for United. We go into the international break, them top of the tree. Manchester City, what a last gasp winner that was. Fascinating game down at Bournemouth. I thought they were going to stroll it. I mean, all right, don't get me wrong. When you look back at the chances, City easily could have strolled it. But you got to give Brighton credit for keeping them out for as long as they did. But if we're going to talk about one thing in that game, it's not the fact that City won, which I predicted they would. Good result. It's that goal from Charlie Daniels. Oh my God. You could have put Manuel Neuer, Lloris Courtois and David De Gea all in goal at the same time, and none of them, even working as a team, would have got anywhere near that. If that was Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Roberto Carlos, Bale, whoever who had scored that, we would be talking about it for years. It was truly, truly spectacular. So Charlie Daniels, take a bow, because that is definitely a contender for goal of the season. So well done. But spirited performance from Bournemouth. I know they haven't had the best start to the season, but I still think they'll be fine. Even though they do still have some tough games coming up. But hey, at the moment, the way Arsenal are playing, you could have a chance when you go to the Emirates after the international break. But yeah, spirited performance from Bournemouth, but good result for Manchester City in the end. Now, on to Chelsea hosting Everton. This game was a lot smoother for Chelsea than I expected it to be. Morata on the score sheet again. Fabregas pulling the strings because, you know, when Matic left, people did wonder, you know, what is going to happen in that Chelsea midfield? And people just automatically assumed that Bakayoko would be the one to fill the gap. But Fabregas has stepped up at the start of this season. Look, we know Chelsea had a nightmare opening weekend. Just ignore that. But yeah, credit to Fabregas because he's really stepped up in the game since. And Chelsea, you know, whatever blip they had on the opening day, yeah, sure, it's something to laugh about. But Chelsea are back, and that's something to worry about. Tottenham's Wembley hoodoo continues. What is wrong with you guys? Why couldn't you just win a game? Seriously. Now look, I'm going to give Burnley credit because what a finish from Chris Wood on his debut. And a beautiful ball from Brady as well. Absolute perfection. And if David Silva had delivered that again, it would have been something that would have been highlighted a lot more. But yeah, Spurs need to sort themselves out because it's points like these that they're dropping that are going to cost them later on in the season, especially when you look at the fact Liverpool are playing so well and Tottenham seem to be struggling. And at the moment, when I actually look at the two squads with a few days left to go in the transfer window, for me, at the start of the season, I said Tottenham. But now, 3 weeks in, only 3 weeks in, I honestly think Liverpool are looking stronger and more dangerous. And maybe it's because Tottenham are at Wembley. But for me at the moment, that's how it's looking. So Tottenham need to sort themselves out now quickly. However, the one thing that I will say for Tottenham to be excited about is that when you come back, August is over, which means Harry Kane will officially start scoring goals. So hopefully that will sort you out. But yeah, you just got to win a game. You just got to win a game at Wembley and make it quick. Now, I know we've spoken about Arsenal being embarrassing, but the whole West Ham situation at the moment is also pretty embarrassing. When you consider the players you guys have brought in, to be hammered at St James's Park by Newcastle, what is going on? Something just isn't right. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I know that signings need to settle and whatever, but yeah, I mean, this has been an awful start. To be rock bottom after 3 games and to be losing in the way you guys are, that's not what anyone wanted. I know that you haven't played a home game yet, and maybe that's what will change, but there needs to be some investment into that team. It's clear they need a good holding midfielder. I know they're linked with William Carvalho. Hopefully they can bring him in, but something needs to be sorted soon. I don't think Bilic should be sacked yet. He needs to be given a chance because he's finally been able to bring in the players he wants. You can't sack him after 3 games. That's ridiculous. But he needs a win, and he needs it fast. As for Newcastle, very good result when you consider that, just like West Ham, there seems to be a lot of issues behind the scenes as to whether or not Benitez has got the backing and what players they're bringing in or not. But fantastic day for them, and hopefully they can really kickstart their season from this point as well. Now, for me, they were all the major talking points in the Premier League this weekend. I know that when you look at some of the other results, Palace losing again, that was a surprise one because I thought Palace would win. Southampton, Huddersfield, that was a draw. I predicted that would be a draw. Watford, Brighton, I thought Watford would win that. I mean, all right, left-back's decision there to get sent off was a ridiculous one. Awful tackle. We deserved the sending off. But, you know, good point away from home for Brighton there. Stoke, West Brom, I predicted that would be a draw. The other results were all kind of stuff that you generally predicted. But for me, they were all of the major talking points in the Premier League this weekend. Any Arsenal fans out there, I would love to hear your thoughts on what that performance was and what you guys made of it, what you think is going on at the club, and what you think of Wenger. Please drop your comments below, let me know. Liverpool fans, I want to hear from you. How well do you think you guys can do this season? Like I said, comment below, let me know. As always, I'm Aaron Whitnell, and I will see you later on in the week for my Premier League preview. Please don't forget to subscribe to ACW Sport, and I will see you guys again soon.